I was particularly intrigued to this story that there's a very simple message at the heart, which is, if the oceans die, we die. Bonjour, je suis Doelger, le producteur de l'Abysse. Avant l'Abysse, j'étais le producteur de Game of Thrones et des autres séries pour HBO.
Les invasions de crabes sont devenues de plus en plus fréquentes, mais les attaques de l'ampleur de celles-ci sont sans précédent.
Quelque chose se sert des océans comme d'une arme contre nous.
When I was presented with the novel of The Swarm, I was very intrigued by the story and the setting, and I thought for my own life, my own profession, it'd be a very good follow-up of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was very much a monster movie. There's something out there that's threatening mankind, and you discover what it is through the course of the series. The Swarm is very similar. There's something out there threatening mankind. A group of people have to discover what it is, see if they can save mankind. We took a great many liberties for the book for several reasons. The novel was written 20 years ago. The science needed to be updated, but also the diversity of characters in the novel is very limited. Most of the scientists are older white men, which very much reflected the composition of students going to universities studying the sciences 20 years ago. Fortunately, 20 years later, there are many more women, people from a much more diverse background. So it's a wonderful opportunity to update the novel to reflect a very positive change in society. When I was first approached about starting Intaglio Films, which was meant to do big, large-scale international projects, I agreed, but I did say that I felt that international had to be defined by the subject matter. I did not want to do projects that were local, in which we simply cast actors from different countries to make them international. So The Swarm was very natural because the story concerns a global event with scientists around the world putting their knowledge, their expertise together to try to solve it. It was a very natural way to include actors and storylines from different countries. And that's really the approach we took with The Swarm, and we're going to take with the other projects we're doing. The biggest challenge filming anything on or under the water is the safety of the actors. We shot as many scenes as we could on the surface of the water if they were safe. Other ones we went to a big tank outside of Brussels where we did everything underwater, anything that was all more complicated and could have endangered anybody, the cast or on the crew. There were no animals involved. They were either created digitally or it was stock footage used in the filming. In one of the most complicated sequences, we have an attack on a ship by some orcas and a humpback whale. These sequences are created by a combination of visual effects, stock footage, and some animation. I've always been attracted to dramas that are about something. I was particularly intrigued to this story that there's a very simple message at the heart, which is, if the oceans die, we die. From that, the whole story spins off, and if everybody comes away understanding how central the health and the environment of the oceans are to us, I'll be very pleased. I think there are a lot of people who fooled themselves or took comfort years ago that no matter how much damage we were doing to the oceans, they're so enormous that they could survive. And I think science and the scientific community have come to the conclusion now that we are actually seriously in danger of killing the oceans. And that would have been inconceivable to most people. So I think it's very important that people understand we are at that tipping point now with the health of the oceans. And that's very much something that our characters believe and we explore in the course of the drama.